You guys, welcome to African Net Channel. This will bring you guys the current news trend, history, and facts about Africa. Today, we're talking about Dinka people of Africa. These guys are one of the tallest people in the world. When we are referring to races or race that have the tallest people in the world, these guys are actually one of those guys, or let's say the tallest race in the world, and they are located in Africa, South Sudan part of Africa. Actually, these guys are being known for their tallest, their resiliency. And when you look at the history of NBA players, the tallest NBA player, this guy is actually from this tribe, the Dinka tribe of South Sudan. These guys, however, grew up to a height of 181.3 centimeters. That's the current height of the Dinka people. But it's very, or let's say a little bit short compared to the ancestors, which around the 19th century, who actually grew up to 182.6 centimeters. Yeah, as just like I was saying, these guys are being said to have uh, good interaction with livestock, just like the other tribes in South Sudan and Ethiopia. We have the around the Omo River Valley. These guys actually cherish the cattle or cattle to an extent that they have about 400 was design, designated alone for cattle, and it's been said that these cattle are also being used to pay dowry into the bridal side during the event of marriage, and young boys actually been given some particular set of cattle, say a particular set of cattle to actually to look over or monitor, and these guys actually mold the horns of their cattle right from a very tender, right from it being a calf. So they mold it in a way that they feel is best or they feel attractive to them. And these guys who actually own cattle, so the own cattle, they tend to walk in the favorite on position of their cattle, that they walk in the shape in which the favorite on of their cattle are being structured. And these guys actually have been displaced from their various locations due to the influence of war. That's when they were still Sudan. When Sudan was still a country, a whole country, these guys actually have been displaced from their original land. But where they are now is actually very quite very big, but a bit very swampy during the rainy season. And actually the civil war back then actually caused death of thousands of Dinka people, which made them displaced. So you can find when we are talking about the Dinka people, although they originate from South Sudan, but you can also find them in Kenya, some of them in Kenya, in Uganda, in Europe now, even the United States and UK, due to the fact of the influence of war, which happened for quite a very long time, which made some of them die and made some of them dead to the impact of starvation. And when it comes to taking a roles in a family, the father, or let's say the male and the female, the married couple, when it comes to the married couple, the men actually take charge. Let's take a building for example. There is kind of something we call division of labor among these Dinka people, where the men will create the foundation and the wall of of a building, while the women will be the ones complete the rooftop. But the way they actually make or construct this their building makes it easily being brought down by rain or flood. So they build, or let's say they create their buildings in such a way that it's very susceptible to flood or erosion, but still it's not too much of a problem for them since they can actually rebuild this particular building of their. And when it comes to their mode of feeding, what they eat, they actually consume millet and cattle. Although mostly in the rainy season, these guys cultivate millet, and during the dry season, since there's little to no rainfall, they consume their cattle. The women actually based on cultivating most of the crops, while the men then focus on raising their cattle. And these guys actually they don't bear the name they were actually being given to as birth. They are given a different name as birth. While as they grow up, they get to bear the name of their cattle or their favorite cattle or the name of anything that is cattle or livestock related. So just like I said earlier, the guys actually tend to work in the mode or work with their hands in the mode of the horns of their favorite cattle. There's this form of ritual which these guys actually do for them to migrate or to transcend from childhood to adulthood. So these guys actually, little male children actually are being prone to exposed to a certain kind of ritual which they do have marks in their forehead. So it is this tradition or this kind of ritual it makes them become a man. Let's say from child transcend from childhood to adulthood. And these guys actually don't really have a form of leadership, but they actually live in a form of clan numbering about 1,000 to 30,000 actually. So among each clan, let's say we have about 1,000 clan now, they actually supposed to have a priest, and that's how it will be. No matter the amount of clan they have, they will always have a priest. So they might actually just come together. Maybe when there is an enemy invasion or there's separate actually a particular program or an event that brings them together as one. But these guys actually don't live together as one. But they prefer to do what? They prefer to live separately in clans, in groups, than having a joint government. And there's also a funny thing about their culture. When a man is absent from the family or cease, cease to exist in the family, the woman which he has married or whom he has married to actually will be absorbed into the family. So they can tend to preserve the name of their family in a way that the woman who actually married the the deceased will actually be remarried or be gotten married to a particular member of that family. So that's one of the things that is actually very common or rampant among their culture. And although this guy do some little fishing by through the use of a dugout canoe, yeah, that's one of. They also have alternative source of feeding through which they fish in their swampy areas using a dugout canoe. When it comes to their dressing, their men or man traditionally they don't put on clothes or wears, while their women put on little to no wears to cover their waist region. Yes. And they also most of them actually during the war, one of the things that caused war is actually because of the Islamic and the Christian part of the country. But actually most Dinkas guys now actually Christians. When you look at their religion currently now, they are mostly Christians who actually migrated back, probably from the northern part, which most of them actually live now in the southern part. So even if you look at the refugees that left South Sudan, so that part of the other countries like Tanzania, the Kenya, we have UK and USA. Most of them are Christians. But when it comes to traditional, they are real God is called Naalik. So they see him as a God of creation and God of destruction. So another thing I would love to ask to this particular tribes that these guys are actually known for their resiliency. They are very very tough. Yeah, tough to the extent that even after the one-to-one drives, they actually keep living up to the extent that they were able to even modify their culture after the war, the civil war, the long time civil war. And South Sudan actually, just like you all know, actually gained their independence in 2013. So since then, they kept on living their lives. Now, looking at the population of South Sudan, these guys actually make up about 48% of their country, which these guys are about 5 million in number. Yes, about 5 million in number, which makes up half of the population of South Sudan. These guys also actually aren't, when it comes to educationally, these guys aren't much exposed. They have little form of education. You see, most of them are illiterate. Although recently they've been getting exposed to modernization, although they are not really that modernized. So another thing I always say about these guys are when it comes to their games or their martial arts, actually these guys practice their own traditional wrestling. They also have this kind of game which they use something like something shaped in form of a fishing spear and a shield. And when it comes to their women, it's said that this Dinka tribe actually have one of the most beautiful women in South Sudan, that people tend to love to marry them or come close to them due to the fact that they are very, very beautiful. Um, when you compare their height to the modern day women, like other people that are in Dinkas, probably from any part of the country, be it Nigeria, be it USA, be it Japan, these guys are far, 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 far taller than the people of members of this country. Yeah, and these guys are also known for crafts. They get involved. Their women actually get themselves involved in a lot of crafts. And thank you very much for listening to African channel. Kindly like, kindly subscribe, kindly comment, and follow up or turn up your notification button to gain more, get more about more videos on this our YouTube channel. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.